PCW, but we have got a group of people who were formerly part of these organizations, some 30 of them, but most of them, as Vincent told, it is age group, and half of them are no more there. And another group is when the previous chaplain was in charge, he tried to organize the tribal people. Somehow asked them to get into this movement, and partially maybe he was successful because we were working very closely with the different tribal groups. But even that is slowly falling apart because there are other government agencies who have taken up the job that we were doing once upon a time, other entities. And now we have got, she has started to collect a few workers. We have got an organization called MANA, which promotes the organic agriculture. So, and we have got a kind of huge amount of people who are working closely with us, and now we are planning to gather them. Again, we are faced with the same difficulty. The first problem is the organizational code. As I was invited to be part of this particular NCW movement, the first question that I asked the people was, what is the whole purpose of our movement? Because most of the work that we were doing once upon a time, or the services that we were offering once upon a time, they are taken up by many other agencies. At least from my part, I'm quite new to this movement, so maybe I'm wrong in my perspective. But this is one thing that I asked them actually, what is the whole purpose of our existence? Because most the services that we used to offer, other agencies are doing it. So what's the creative? And other agencies are doing it better because they have got a legal basis. And without that legal basis, we can gather the workers, we can sit with them, have a meal, chat, and ask about their problems. But what are we going to do with the problems that they give to us? How are we going to solve those problems? Having a meal together is not a great deal. But the problem is, how are we going to face the realities of their life? So maybe that is one thing that we are facing in Taiwan. Secondly, of course, the shortage of funding, because we don't have enough members. If we don't have members, then forget about funding. If there is no funding, then forget about organizing any activities. Then so from Taiwan part, I think it is one thing that we want the movement to do is to rethink about how can we make our presence relevant in the modern world. We can work with migrant workers, yes, but then there are many other organizations, there are many other entities, both church and non-Christian organizations catering their needs. So where do we stand? That's one of the, I think, from Taiwan perspective, I think that is one of the things that we want the movement to come up with, to have a clear idea about how can we cater to the needs of these workers, perhaps from a legal point of view as well, not just as a movement, just gathering them, meeting with them, and giving them a space to gather every week or every month. Little more than that. How can we contribute to the life of these people in a much more efficient way? And second one is about this. What Father was mentioning about this building partnership. Also, is a direction that we can think of. Because as I mentioned now, this MANA, this organic cultural association. It's a legal entity, and people workers who are working with us, we not only cater to their financial needs, but we also bring them, gather them on a faith basis, looking into their family family problems and so on and so forth. So whenever we are faced with some problems, this MANA is a legal entity, they always can come up with some programs for them. So this building partnership also is, I think, in the modern world is very important because NCW as a movement, we cannot be doing much in this regard. So I think it's also good to think about how can we foster a kind of partnership with other entities which are more legal in our particular countries. So that's it. So thank you. Yes, and this grassroots work will bring us come up with some problems that we are facing. At least we know we can tell them whom to approach for a solution. If we have got a networking organization, it is a networking of organizations. We cannot solve the problems, but at least we can tell them, okay, there is a particular entity dealing with this particular issue. So we can put them in touch with them. That's also a service to the workers, I suppose, building partnership.